All right, welcome back. Lots going on. Brought you a lot of great stuff already in hour one. Fernando Uribe from right next door in the Garden State talking about all the things happening in the presidential race and even your iPhone with the iPhone 12. Vito Fasal joined us talking about pack the court. And you gotta, at the cocktail parties, at the barbecues, at the indoor dining, at the outdoor dining, you gotta explain to people that the number one thing they should fear most is the Democrats taking control of all three houses, the House, the Senate, and the White House, because then they're going to pack the court and they're going to have, some schoolhouse rock stuff. You got the executive, which is the president, you got the legislative, which is the House and the Senate, and you got the judicial, right? And they're three branches so that there's always checks and balances. And if they pack the court, and they start passing all kinds of Antifa-like rules, and they start eliminating police across the country, and they start the taxes at 80%, we can sue them till the cows come home, but the Supreme Court will shoot it down because it will be packed with liberals. So we gotta keep that in mind, okay? And that is why, in my view, the deep state continues to try to push this Joe Biden narrative, because they don't want it all to get uncovered about how there was an entire soft coup, in my view, led by the CIA, because they didn't trust the FBI, so John Brennan brought it around the back door into the U.S. And, Matt Gaetz put it pretty bluntly in a recent tweet when Matt Gaetz said, the deep state isn't going to stop coming for us. At some point, we've got to start coming for them. And I got to agree with him. Think about it. I wear my NYPD hat on here every so often because I support the cops. I back the blue. My dad was a cop. But if our own highest levels of law enforcement in this country, the Department of Justice, the FBI, are not going to prosecute people who tried to overturn the will of our republic in a fair democratic election, and no one goes to jail for that, then we've literally got to a place where there's two sets of societies. The deep state, who can go down as deep as trying to overturn our government, or a law and order state where President Trump is backed by every law enforcement agency in the country. And none other than Steve Bannon, who was a big part in Donald Trump's first run, is really putting the heat on the FBI right now, because Steve Bannon says Trump must confront Wray, FBI Director Wray, on why the information housed on this hard drive was not moved on immediately. This confrontation should take place this weekend in the Oval Office. If Wray doesn't have a bulletproof reason, he should be fired in the room. Okay? And again, I do not disagree. I mean, the people of this country cannot believe that the folks in the law enforcement can break the very laws they're charged with enforcing and know that there will be no penalty, because then we're not a democratic society anymore at all, if you ask me. And it goes so far, when this laptop was uncovered or discovered, the blind man who owned the Mac shop, and I find it funny that, a blind man could tell that Hunter Biden's emails were corrupt. But George Papadopoulos tweeted that the FBI told the shop owner, nothing will happen to you if you keep your mouth shut about Biden. And these were the FBI agents to the Delaware store owner who discovered Hunter Biden's hard drive. Nothing will happen to you if you keep your mouth shut about Biden. Okay, that's kind of scary if you ask me. And then why is the deep state so worried about Joe and Hunter Biden's ties to the Ukraine and China and Kazakhstan and all this other stuff? Because there is clear evidence now in the hands of the deep state and the Department of Justice and the FBI of everyone that Hunter Biden was going around the world selling access to his dad, and Hunter Biden, his brother, his uncle James Biden, and even his father, Joe Biden, have been clearly and concisely outed as running an international corruption scheme, selling the office of the vice president, using his son and his brother as a conduit. Okay? And I don't know. Doesn't this seem a little curious to you? Because at one point, right before Joe Biden became vice president, he was quoted as saying, "I'm the poorest guy in the Senate." And his House and his Senate filings showed his net worth between $400,000 and $1 million. They only have to admit to a range. Okay, isn't it funny that all this stuff is coming out? He's running for president. Silicon Valley and the Democrats and the deep state are trying to crush all this corruption stuff like it's not true. And a little comparison between Joe Biden's net worth way back in 2016 when he left the office of vice president. Joe and Jill Biden's net worth was $396,000. And by his most recent reporting, his 2017 to 2019 income was $16.6 million. So I've done some crazy deals in life, and I've made exponential scores. But I don't know anyone that turns 400,000 into 16 million in 2 years. I mean, if you could do that, I want to go to the Joe Biden master class of wealth generation, because I don't know how you go from 400 grand to 16 million in 2 years. And that's really what's happened. And at the same time, Joe Biden's campaign came out this weekend, and they said that don't believe the polls. They said, don't believe the polls. Okay, and they said, we cannot get complacent. And at the same time, while they're telling people don't get complacent, they put a lid on Joe Biden for this week. So Joe Biden will not be seen outside of his basement until Thursday. Don't get complacent, though. Let's keep him in the house until Thursday, because this Hunter Biden stuff is swirling around. We don't know what might happen. We don't need Joe having a stroke on the campaign trail. Let's lock him down till Thursday. And that sounds like the height of complacency to me.